It's so much dust. Luna, I would like to do a review on a book, but I don't know what book to do. Do you know what book we should do? I know. Let's see what I have. Okay. You know, it's not as many as I thought I did. I want more. Either way. This'll have to do.
TGR.
Alright guys, here we have the Final Fantasy Ultimania Archive, Volume 3, which includes Final Fantasy X, XI, XII, XIII, and XIV. So, let's go ahead and get into the book. Each of these books always start the same way. So here we have some quotes from the games, which is kind of neat, nice little touch. And like I mentioned, all these Ultimania volumes, they all start the same way. When we get to each section of each game, they showed you the releases and the different covers for each release, as well as some little story summary, the overall story of the game. Then we have some art. In this case, we see the beautiful Yoshitaka Amano art for Final Fantasy X. And again, all of the sections do have this kind of art, which is really nice to see before you get into the nitty-gritty of these Ultimania volumes. More Amano art here. You see I'm pointing to it. It's beautiful. And I really like how different the Amano art is to the final game art. I mean, look at Seymour and Yoona there, for instance. Here's a summary of the story, which is kind of cool. And here's the characters and how they connect to each other. Nice little touch that I always like to look at. We also have the character bios here, so you can see, just some personal stats, some quotes, and things like that. Their concept art, which is really cool, seeing how they look before the end, and then of course their final images, as well as some memorable scenes from the games themselves. And this is pretty much for every character. Here's Yoona, here's some more art and concept art of Yoona being the bride. Here's a pretty picture of Yoona and the more memorable scenes. And here's Riku, my first ever actual video game crush. Yeah, I think she's a cutie patootie. In this particular picture, that's the one that did it for me when I was like 14. It's great. Seymour, and some more art. It pretty much repeats. Here's some minor characters as well, some other characters as it's labeled in the book, with their concept and their final design. So really cool stuff. And then we move on to the World of Spira in this case, and a bunch of art for each section you visit, each location. Typical art book stuff. Here's some monster designs as well, which is always nice to see. I actually really like the monster designs of Final Fantasy X. The Chocobo Eater, for this instance, very memorable fight, even though the monster itself isn't too unique. Ivray, I don't know how to say that. Just cool stuff. Lots of monsters, lots of just really good designs. I love Final Fantasy X, and I love the designs. Here's Sin. What a great monster. Some extra content, mainly focused on the Aeons on this page, their emblems and things like that. I love the Aeon designs as well. Getting them all was such a good feeling in the game. Weapons and armor, Lulu's weapons, vehicles. I mean, it's all here. This is for Final Fantasy X, and most of the mainline games, they have pretty big sections. Here's some other just rough sketches and things like that. And then we move on to the next game. Well, hold on. We gotta look at more memories from Final Fantasy X. And then we move on to the next game, which is Final Fantasy XI Online. Look at all these releases and expansions. I never played Final Fantasy XI. But, I mean, there's just so many different versions. It's kind of cool to see the releases and their expansions and whatnot. Here's, again, more amazing Yoshitaka Amano art. I mean, just look at this stuff. It's really, really good looking. I love the world map here. It's a basic story for the game, which I guess MMOs do have a story. Again, some characters. I shouldn't say that. Of course, MMOs are gonna have stories. It is. I mean, that's kind of what drives you in, right? But anyway, here's some more characters, concept art as usual. So as you can see, the formula of the Ultimania archive books, it's just like that. You get the story, you get the characters, and then some more, some concept art, stuff like that. Again, here's the world, which is kind of cool. Some world background art, things like that. I never played 11 again, so I don't have a lot of, obviously no memories, no connection to it. So let's just talk real quick about the build of the book. So as you can see, there's some gloss here in the front on the letters and the pictures. Here's the side, the spine of it, with the all the games, the Cactuar, Dark Horse, which does a really good job of publishing these books. And here's the back. You can see it there. It's really well done. No spine issues whatsoever. The last book that we reviewed here was Monster Hunter World, and that one had some major issues. This one did not. Let's get back to Final Fantasy XI. So yes, and here's the world map of Final Fantasy XI, which, I mean, if you played the game, you're going to have. But you see here, no spine issues whatsoever. I'm almost at the halfway point of the book, and no issues at all. So this is a very, very well put together book. Here's some extra content, the avatars, which I guess are based on summons, pretty cool. Some armor designs, which again, pretty neat if you like Final Fantasy XI. More images. Miscellaneous stuff. It's, whoa, you gotta go back. Final Fantasy XI memories, and now we get on to Final Fantasy XII. Now this game, a lot of people like it. It's a good game. Here's all the, again, cover arts. I actually never seen this before, the International Zodiac version here, but I actually have the 12. I got the original release, and I had a steelbook for that, but I don't see a picture here. And I also have the PS4 release as well. Look at that beautiful Amano art. This is some of my favorite art. The Sky Pirate, the Princess, and the Punk. It's just, ooh, magical. And this picture, actually, before the game came out, I actually had this picture as a background wallpaper for my old computer, which is kind of cool. Again, some more amazing art from Final Fantasy XII. Here's your character bios. Character bio. Oh, whoa, I got ahead of myself. Final Fantasy XII story and characters, and then your character bios. Vaughn, Penelo, Bash. The usual stuff. Here's Ash. I love seeing this rough sketch. Some quotes, etc. Yeah. Fran. That's Bay. More characters, of course. And the Moogle designs are also really, really cool. This, like, the tactics look is just so good. Love Ivalice. Locations and their arts and notes and stuff. Vehicles, of course. Some more random stuff here, etc., etc. I'm closing the book. I'm opening it up again. I forget why I'm doing this. Why am I doing this? Oh, that's right. I'm showing the different colors. How each game has a different color. So if you see at the very top, you see how it's like color coded. But anyway, move on. Ooh, look at Ash in a little bikini. What are you doing here, hanging out with our boy? Anyway, let's move on. To the best Final Fantasy, am I right? Everyone likes this one. It's not linear at all. It's Final Fantasy 13. Again, here's all the releases, which is kind of cool. More Amano art, which is really, really, really good. I love how Amano did these characters. Some more art, which is, again, still beautiful. I will say, Final Fantasy looks good. Some of the character bios and connections, again. And of course, Lightning. I really like the characters of Final Fantasy 13. Lightning is really dope. I love her design, even though she's pretty much Cloud. Snow is kind of cool. Vanilla's a cutie patootie. Yes, you are. And Sazi is genuinely the best character of Final Fantasy 13. If you disagree, fight me. Hope, Fang, yeah. You know the drill. If you played 13, you know these characters. And you already know the way these books are set up, so here's some locations and arts and pretty pictures and background information, etc. Oh, what's this? This actually comes with the shrink wrap that this book came in. It's in the back of the book, so it's just kind of little Adam. Let me take this out of here. Here's some extra content, Eidolons and their designs, and etc., etc., etc. And then we get to the last game in this book, which is A Realm Reborn, Final Fantasy XIV. They said screw the vanilla. Again, more cover arts, more Amano art, which, as usual, is godlike. And yeah, the story, the epilogue, it's good stuff. I never played Final Fantasy XIV, but I heard it's good. Some creators' voices, which is kind of neat. And that's it. That's the end of the book, guys. It's a really well put together book. If you like the games that are in this volume, I highly recommend you getting it. It's not very expensive. And again, very well put together. Dark Horse did a fantastic job on these Ultimania archives, and I can't wait to see the Final Fantasy VII coming up. But anyway, guys, here it is. You should definitely get it. I hope you enjoyed this. We are definitely going to be doing more of these book reviews, courtesy of TGR. And I genuinely, sincerely hope you like it. If you want to see more, let me know in the comments below. As always, these type of videos would not be possible without the help from our patrons and our members on YouTube. Special shoutouts go to Adrian, Anya, Daniel, Felix, Herson, Jan, JD, Nico, Shayne. We love you guys and genuinely appreciate the support.
Hope you enjoyed the video. If you want to see more and stay up to date, subscribe, hit the little bell, and join our Discord.
If you want to support the channel, please check out our Patreon or hit the join button below. As always, thanks for your support and thanks for watching.